This time, there was another tie. A choice between investigating or fortifying must be made. As ever, a die roll will settle this. An even number means the crew will go to investigate. An odd number means that they will fortify the bridge area. A 2. Investigate it is. Heidi was indecisive. She wanted to save people, but she also wanted everyone to come out alive, including her own team. The two objectives weren't mutually exclusive, but certainly required some balancing. In this case, though, time was of the essence. "We can't just leave people to die," Joseph said. "I, for one, am willing to risk it. We all signed up knowing we might be taking a risk." The fox made a good point. The time for decision had come.
Steele, Olga, I know we have reason to be cautious, but every second we spend in the dark about what's on this ship could be costing innocent people their lives. Joseph is right.
Olga nodded.
We all signed up for this.
All right, I can't say I agree, but you're in command,
Dr. Steele stated. The human had a huge grin on his face for no apparent reason.
Do I want to know?
Heidi sighed.
Out with it.
Forgive me, it's just that it's utter nonsense to go in blindly.
Right as Steele looked like he was about to launch into a fusillade of puns, there was a deep metallic groan that they all felt in their bones.
But stop.
I am thinking you are best to be leaving humor elsewhere.
Olga grunted as she brought up her laser cannon out of reflex.
Like on the far side of the airlock. It's serious times.
Either that, or this place has a strange way of laughing, Joseph responded likewise. Heidi tagged the wall with a circle.
We can use here as a rendezvous.
Deeper and darker we go.
Dr. Steele said.
Perhaps we will get some answers in the ship's environmental plant. I downloaded the map.
Good place to start. Mind sharing?
Not at all. 10 decks, some larger than others. Currently we're on deck 3.
Dr. Steele said, transmitting the file to everyone.
Deck 3? What's on decks 1 and 2?
Comms and a flying bridge, I think, Joseph said after looking at the plans. We had just come out of the main bridge. It's not surprising. This ship was built to fight.
Having the main bridge up top, where it's most exposed to fire, is asking for trouble.
You also don't need to see space to do most duties on a starship. That's what sensors are for.
Yes.
Olga nodded.
Sensors are often more important than actually seeing with your eyes where you are going.
At any rate, I presume you want to locate areas where survivors might be located.
Steele said.
Indeed.
Heidi nodded.
I presume that's what this one overlay is for?
Ah, you're getting ahead of me.
Steele said.
But yes, there's a temperature overlay. Most of the ship is still hot, but cooling down. Figure if we're going to find survivors, we need to head to colder areas. According to this ship's internal sensor, I've identified several likely candidate regions. The closest is in the environmental plant of the ship anyway. Deck 4, room 415.
Can't argue there.
Heidi nodded. That looks like Deck 4, going much further forward. The room appears to be labeled Sewage Overflow Containment. At that, there was an awkward pause.
Right, and the next closest place is?
Olga said, startled. Nobody likes dealing with sewage.
Are you sure about this, Steele? Also, couldn't you come outright and say it?
We've got atmosphere shields, and my people have a saying from the old sailing days. Any port in a storm. We're better to hide from a firestorm than somewhere damp.
Steele said with a reserved smirk. Heidi got the sense that Dr. Steele was holding back once more on saying something, though for all she knew it could just be another human culture reference or a pun. In fact, knowing him, it probably was.
Don't really want to think about it, but unfortunately that does make logical sense. Besides, we've got spacesuits between us and the sewage.
Yeah, but mine's a pain to clean, Joseph said.
So is everyone's,
Heidi said.
And we have to go through decontamination anyway, so I don't want to hear any more whining.
Also, we may be in for a surprise if I'm right, and it won't be sewage.
Steele said.
I'll explain on the way.
The word sewage and surprise should never go in the same sentence.
Olga grumbled.
Just trust me.
Steele said with that infuriating grin.
The room has to be checked anyway,
Heidi said.
and I'd rather not leave anyone there for longer than necessary, and it is the closest.
And in the section we're interested in.
We're going.
Heidi marked the wall with her spray can, indicating the direction they were going in fluorescent pink. Olga took point once more, shining her flashlight down the dark corridor. Their arrival had stirred up a layer of ash and dust, revealing the occasional charred bone.
We are taking the stairwell, yes?
Of course.
Steele confirmed, pinging his plotted route on everyone's displays.
I'm not trusting the elevator until I've cleared the computers myself.
Now, you said we were in for a surprise, Steele?
Yes, I noticed something about the schematic. For some place labeled as sewage overflow, it did not have the right kind of pipes going into it. The ones that are going in are nowhere near the width I would expect of real sewer pipes.
Or the Gestalt could have advanced plumbing tech, Joseph joked, reassured somewhat, in their super old ships.
I doubt it.
Olga grunted as she pushed aside a half-closed hatch to reveal the stairwell.
If there were such a thing, their people would have never benefited from it.
How would you know? Joseph asked, genuinely curious. Hardly anyone goes there and comes back these days, or like ever.
I have been through the portal once, when I was 8.
Olga said, her face like a white stone.
Father and I were lucky to make it.
Steele, Joseph, and Heidi stayed silent as they descended the stairs to Deck 4. So did Olga for a bit.
I was 8. We were taken from our village. Father was the local doctor. We were forced into train cars, then barracks, and then given sedatives one day. Only some of us woke up in the dark, strapped into chairs with wires attached to us. I do not know what happened to my mother.
Why? Joseph almost lost his grip on the handrail.
She did not wake up with the rest of us.
Olga said bluntly.
No, I'm thinking means, why would they do such a barbaric thing?
Heidi said.
If I had to hazard a guess, it would be to gather data on the portal's effect on Anth without risking anyone important.
Steele said sourly.
No offense meant, Olga. That is horrible. Even on my worst days, I would never use Sapiens as direct test subjects.
When you control the whole world, you can get away with a lot, especially that kind of carelessness.
Heidi said.
I remember hearing about that incident during training. I didn't realize you were one of the survivors. Yes, I know. It's not something that I thought.
Olga said.
I am trying to move past it, but scars do not just go away. That said, I am Polar Bear. I can face most problems head-on, even the ones in my head.
Heidi wanted to ask more, but they had reached a sealed hatch.
This is room 415.
Steele confirmed. Indeed, it was labeled as sewage overflow containment. Steele looked at the door skeptically. The others had looks of unenthusiastic anticipation.
The moment of truth,
Steele said. Olga unsealed the hatch to reveal a white room that did not appear to have a trace of anything resembling plumbing, much less sewage. In fact, it looked like a small laboratory.
Yes!
Steele grinned beneath his bubble helmet.
Called it. Someone's been reading their evil overlord list. Ancient human document, but well worth a read.
Check our corners.
Heidi confirmed as she, Olga, and Joseph swept into the room. The room was like a laboratory antechamber to a much larger space beyond. Heidi could see now that there was a window overlooking a bay. The room itself was not without several odd things, though. A row of cylindrical pods, as well as an object covered by a black tarpaulin in the corner. They were all labeled as specimens 1 through 4, with the tarp-covered object being labeled number 5. Each pod also had a corresponding sticker. Red, green, blue, and white in that order.
We have now entered the cold area.
Steele confirmed when the others signaled it was safe.
Were it not for the thing messing with the environment, I'd say we could take our helmets off.
That, and the corpuscles are most likely in those pods. Are they cryopods?
Heidi asked, examining the cylinders in front of her.
Yes.
Steele said after a moment's examination.
Looks like someone wanted to keep biological matter on ice. Which makes me extra curious as to what's under the tarp.
Please do not be tempting me, Olga said, shining her light directly on the specimens.
These pods are scan-shielded.
Steele frowned.
We'll have to take a look in each.
Pods are probably controlled by the desktop over there.
Indeed, there was a computer tower, still powered on. The tank labeled Specimen 1 had a large red sticker on it. There was a vaguely humanoid shape visible through the small window, which Heidi peered in, bumping her helmet on it. Although the frost on the glass obscured her vision further. Specimen 2 had a similar problem, but without any discernible shape apart from something that looked like a starfield pattern. Specimen 3 had a vaguely anthropoid shape, but its eyes glowed dimly with an eerie light that should not be there, which further obscured any details. Specimen 4 was also anthropoid, and surprisingly clearly an anthish rat female, in a lab coat. Each of them were dated in sequence, with Specimen 1 being the oldest, and Specimen 4 being the most recent.
I think they were collecting people, all right.
Which leads to the question of what we do with them.
They appear safe enough for now. Computer confirms that. Curious that this one was not smashed. Then again, it wasn't on the schematics.
Worry about that later. We have people we can save in here.
Yes,
Olga nodded.
but we can't move them while they're like this.
Heidi said.
Confirmed. If we do an uncontrolled thaw, we'll likely kill them. The system also is limited to thawing one at a time, it looks like. So Heidi, which one, if any, should we do first?
Yes, Dr. Steele. That is a good thing to have our intrepid heroes ponder for a moment. This time, there are 5 choices, each with its own perils and perks. Will the person in the pod be friend or foe? Will they even be alive? Or do you just want to unwrap the gift in the corner? You can vote by following the link in the description below. And also, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe if you like this video.